Ranking Member Westerman, and members of the subcommittee. I thank you all for having me here today. My Yupik name is Achak, and my Irish name is Alannah Hurley, and I'm the Executive Director for the United Tribes of Bristol Bay. And UTBB is a tribal consortium whose mission is to defend our Indigenous way of life by protecting our traditional lands and waters. The Yupik, Dene, Ina, and Alutiiq people of Bristol Bay represent 3 of the last remaining salmon cultures on the planet. We are salmon people, but salmon are more than food for us. Salmon are central to our cultural identity, our spirituality, and our sacred way of life that has made us who we are for thousands of years in the Bristol Bay region. Pebble's proposal to build a mine at the heart of our watershed has been a dark cloud over Bristol Bay for the last 15 years. As proposed, the mine would permanently impact thousands of acres of pristine lands and waters that sustain the world's greatest salmon habitat. While our people have opposed Pebble for nearly 2 decades, our recent experience with the Army Corps of Engineers has made it clear to us the government is paving the way for Pebble regardless of the consequences. Despite the Corps' statements that it is committed to a thorough, fair, and transparent review of Pebble, our tribe's experiences in the environmental review process demonstrate it is merely paying lip service to its statutory obligations and its trust responsibility to our tribes. Despite 2 of our member tribes' significant efforts to work as cooperating agencies, the Corps has erected substantial barriers to their meaningful participation. The Corps dismissed the tribe's concerns and failed to provide the information necessary to meaningfully evaluate impacts to our people. Additionally, throughout this process, the Corps has repeatedly failed to meaningfully consult with tribes on a government-to-government basis. We have extended countless invitations to the Corps to visit our communities, see and witness our way of life, and to engage in open dialogue about these issues that are most important to our people. Yet the Corps continues to be unresponsive to these requests. The posters you see here today are prime examples of how information is routinely kept hidden from the public eye. As a result, tribes are forced to rely on the media for critical information the government should be providing directly to tribes. This is unacceptable, and it really sends a clear message to our tribes that the Corps' recitals of its obligations are nothing but hollow words. Words so hollow that a senior Corps official in Alaska could not get through prepared remarks at the end of a draft EIS hearing in Dillingham last spring without weeping and having to turn it over to another official. After nearly 2 years of this treatment by the Corps, Bristol Bay's tribes are continually left with the lingering question of why. Why is the Army Corps rushing a timeline that does not match up with any realities in Bristol Bay? Studies remain undone, data gaps remain unfilled, and the draft EIS has been universally condemned by the scientific community, by other federal agencies, and by our people for its lack of thorough analysis of this project and its impact to the people of Bristol Bay. Why is it that major announcements and agency decisions are known to Northern Dynasty shareholders who actively discuss this knowledge in online investment forums before those decisions are publicly announced? And why is it that Bristol Bay's first people, to whom this federal government owes a sacred trust responsibility, are continually treated as second-class citizens by agencies of the United States? We are not a box to be checked. We are not an obstacle to overcome, and we are not enemies to be defeated. We are the Indigenous people of Bristol Bay. Our culture is not for sale, and we deserve to be heard, we deserve to be respected, and we will not be brushed aside. We have inherited the responsibility to be strong stewards of Bristol Bay, and we will not stop fighting until our homeland is protected from the Pebble mine. I'm not here to debate the shape-shifting size and scope of whatever size and scope of the Pebble mine is peddling, depending on the month. I'm here to tell you that any mine in Bristol Bay threatens our very existence as Indigenous peoples. If Pebble is developed, there is no doubt it will forever change who I am, who my people are, where I come from, and it will rob our children's children of their right to continue being Native people as we have for thousands of years in Bristol Bay. I cannot accept that. Our people cannot accept that, and this committee should not accept that. The Corps has made it clear that our people, science, and fact do not matter in this process. So we plead with this committee to do everything in its power to hold this administration accountable. This must be done to ensure the traditional and national resource of Bristol Bay wild salmon is protected. Please uphold your responsibility to our tribes and put an end to this culture of corruption. Oyana, thank you for having me.